Well, greetings everybody from S4. We're here with Itay Glick. Welcome. You're with OPSWAT. So maybe this is an OT security. Talk a little about some of the differences, how you safeguard the data. How is it different in the IT versus the OT?
Oh, that's a great question. So what we've seen is that IT has usually the capability to perform security on the device itself. You're willing to take the chance that something would run on the device and you would catch it. In OT, you have two difficulties. One, you're not allowed usually to run on the device directly. You cannot run because it's a critical infrastructure or legacy system or really a closed, tight system that you cannot touch on it and change it. And the second, you're not willing to take the chance of this first instant to create something bad in that OT environment. This would create damages, critical damages across the nation in some cases.
Got it, right. So one area is focusing on keeping the machine running. One area, perhaps the IT, is more on make sure there's no malicious injection of data and so on.
So in the IT, would make sure that you run that malicious code, you see what happens on the device, and say, okay, this doesn't look good, I'll stop it, and everything will be okay. On the OT, you cannot run it on the device itself. You're not allowed to do that because of all the problems that can happen.
It could impact the physical world.
So you need to safeguard it before it gets into that OT device.
Now let's talk about some of the data sources an organization need to monitor and protect in their OT environment, and what are some of the concerns that are protecting against IoT threats?
So an OT organization can have multiple data sources, could have them from vendors, of suppliers, patching for their system, maintenance packets, new programs that they need to operate in their OT devices on one side. Also, they get a lot of information from sensors, meaning weather information they get from somebody else. All these areas of sources could be compromised and could bring bad things into the organization. The OT organization should monitor everything that gets into that network, of course. So everything that you want to put in an HMI or engineering workstation, you need to scan, validate, see if it's legit. You cannot let USB device, for example, run around the organization plugging into critical infrastructure devices.
Right.
This wouldn't work well. So you need to monitor that. You need to monitor traffic going into that OT device. If it's something unusual, you need to alert about it. So this is the areas where I would monitor whatever gets in and the network that talks with those HMI engineering workstations, etc.
Got it. And we'll double click a little bit on the use cases, but I guess you've referenced sensors, you've referenced controllers, you've referenced visualization like an HMI. Mm-hmm. Maybe talk a little bit about the level 0, level 1 protection, and how does OT do that? How does OPSWAT do that?
If you want to protect the level 0, level 1, you need to start with protecting the higher levels because they would propagate between the levels. So you want to stop them as far away from the level 0 as you can.
Right.
So you prevent the files from getting in, and this is when they run it on the device, on the HMI, it's already checked. It shouldn't create anything harmful. This is one. The second thing is you monitor the traffic between the levels. When you monitor the traffic between the levels, you know that according to the isolation, level 1 shouldn't talk with level 5. You need to see that they're not crossing too many levels in one communication. This is how you maintain the defense by layers also on that aspect.
Got it. Thank you for that insight. And maybe expand a little bit on some of the case studies where successful security implementation was achieved in OT environment and highlighting specific challenges faced, and then perhaps how do you mitigate those risks with the OPSWAT solutions?
So we've seen many cases where people think, hey, nobody uses USB drives. Okay. But the reality is that when somebody comes into the organization, he comes with that USB device and expect you to allow him to plug it in for his work but that USB device could have been in location where you don't want, there was malicious activity and they would be compromised, and you don't want that into the organization. So a successful implementation would be a way for us to check the device before plugging it into the organization. In some cases, even in advance, before the user even come to the organization. So when he comes to the organization, this vendor, you pay him a lot of dollars per hour. So you want him not to stay in the lobby for 2 hours waiting for the scan to complete. So we can scan it in advance, and then when you scan it in advance, you can use unidirectional links to bring it to a location near the right level that he needs to work on, and from that you can access those files. So all the process could be very streamlined, very quick, so he can really do his job. We are here to enable him to do his job, not to block him. But at the same time, we need to continue and protect the organization.
Thank you for that. Now, can you double click on one and give a specific example of a successful implementation?
Sure. So in one of the cases, we have a customer that implemented our solution for USB scanning. When he implemented that solution, he thought, okay, first, nobody is using USB. He very soon saw that there are a lot of people constantly using the USB as a mechanism to transfer data between the networks. So that was great, but then he also saw that from a USB device, even internally, that he used, when plugging it into that scanning device, he saw malicious artifacts. And that was amazing for us to detect and help him actually provide a better security program for his organization. So this was really exciting for us to help him with that.
Got it. And what specific program from OPSWAT did they use for that?
They used our Meta Defender kiosk, which is scanning USB devices and seeing if there are malicious artifacts, malwares, file with vulnerabilities, and exploits on it.
Thank you for that. I think now, considering the interconnectedness of the IT and OT systems, what are some of the strategies or best practices that should organizations adopt to ensure seamless integration and maintain effective security measures? And maybe to borrow one of Dale's question, what are some of the metrics should be used to do that? So it's a filled question, but maybe we'll wrap up with that.
So it's a very, there are a lot of things you can do in the OT network. We need to keep in mind that OT organizations are still progressing in the cybersecurity realm, and we need to allow them to first have a great usability in each product. Okay, so it's most important that whatever you decided then to purchase, you need to have great usability, so it will be very easy for them to operate and to maintain. On the other side, you need to maintain security about USB devices, data sources coming into your organization, USB devices. If you for some reason connect them to the internet, you should consider why these critical assets are connected to the internet. You need to monitor that. So you monitor the network in between the different levels that you have, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and really see if there is a cross between the levels. You can use behavior learning technologies to really see if there's something out of the ordinary. So you don't need to really understand the network all the time, but you just see if something is changing that you are not aware. And you can also create areas where you block automatically those communications. Again, depending on the aggressiveness of your decision. If you want a very strict cybersecurity regime, you do it immediately. You see an unwanted or unknown connection, block it immediately, cut the cable out. This is the analogy, cut the cable out. This is what we do in cyber attack.
Got it, thank you. If you have a question, feel free to leverage the hashtag you see on the screen, or feel free to join next week's online session with a couple of the folks from OPSWAT, among other folks, and get your questions answered. Thank you for your insights there.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.